Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing fantastic wherever you are in the world. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Let me make this disclaimer before we get into this video. I am by no means coming to the defense of Gypsy Rose, Kristy Blanchard, or Brie. I am going to try demonstrate to you guys that Miss Without a Crystal Ball, in my opinion, was absolutely complicit and or turned a blind eye to the bullshit Gypsy was trying to pull by trying to convince people that she's changed, that she's a better person, that she's wanting to do things with her life. And Miss Without a Crystal Ball is no different than any of these deceptive people. And her latest shenanigans, meaning her turning on Gypsy and whomever else, was just her not being able to accept the fact that she was cut loose by Gypsy and Kristy. Also, her excuse for no longer being on TikTok is BS. She used her relationship with Gypsy and her family and being on TikTok as a way for her to replenish subscribers, finances that she actually lost in the midst of promoting a failed story. Remember the 7M docuseries that was on Netflix? That no one is interested in anymore, and also she had no other content to focus on because the Duggars were no longer relevant and Sister Wives were on hiatus. But before we get into that, as I said, she made a statement as to why she's no longer on TikTok, and it goes like this. For those that follow me on TikTok, this is why I haven't been on the app this week. Been, B-E-E-N, on the app, Miss Journalist. I haven't been on this week given that there is a very real possibility TikTok will be banned. I am struggling with the concept of building an audience that will only disappear in January. That's why I'm not here this week. Also, my reporting is not focused on Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and I think some people have wrongly lumped me into being an anti-Gypsy creator. I am not anti-anything. I am pro-truth and accountability. I also believe that ignoring a dangerous, narcissistic sociopath is better than constantly talking about or promoting. Just something I hope some people will consider. Now, if you go to Miss Without a Crystal Ball's TikTok, you will see that she was already on that app, disparaging, berating, and humiliating dancers and their associates, in my opinion, that are still in this group. And when she was doing that, she had no issue with TikTok being banned. But then now it's an issue. Miss Without a Crystal Ball used the TikTok app and her experience with the Blanchards, or lack of, for monetary gain. The e-begging, as I said before, was shameful and embarrassing. Now, the second time she turned on the Blanchards, she went on to some Morbid X's YouTube channel to give her side as to what went wrong. And as she explained, she was so far behind with what exactly was going on, because when she was asked what did it for her to turn on Gypsy and Kristy, she explained that Kristy was worried about Gypsy being revoked because of Gypsy leaving a comment under another ex-convict's account named Tuesday, and we already learned that Gypsy was exposed for communicating with Amelia Bird. And it seems as though Miss Without a Crystal Ball had no idea about that. And why didn't she know about that, you may be asking? Well, you see, Miss Without a Crystal Ball actually abandoned the Gypsy clique when she found out in April that her docuseries will be coming out on May 29th. So she put all her focus on promoting the docuseries that she takes full credit for. Then in May, she found out that Gypsy met with Kim Kardashian and that Gypsy was going to be on the Kardashians, and that set her off. That was the first time that she turned on the Blanchards. You guys can pause and read this post because this is the post that she said that she archived. Well, it seems after Miss Without a Crystal Ball exposed a few secrets about the Blanchards, it got Kristy and Gypsy quite panicked, because the next day Miss Without a Crystal Ball posted this. Oh hi, it's been a minute. I was actually going to show my face today on my channel, but ended up on the phone with Gypsy for almost 3 hours. Anyway, don't want to let this makeup go to waste, so here I am. So obviously everyone kissed and made up, and from the next post that Miss Without a Crystal Ball does make about Gypsy, it speaks volumes as to who got put in their place and was given at the chance. So Miss Without a Crystal Ball made a post on July 9th congratulating Gypsy and Ken. And let's just say that she was still on probation at this time when she made this post. And I say probation because clearly the Blanchards, Gypsy or Kristy, and those around them did not trust Katie Joy, in my opinion. After she divulged information that she shouldn't have divulged, which I will explain to you in a minute, and also from the first time that Katie Joy actually turned on them and exposed their secrets, which you saw previously. And it states, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is pregnant. Gypsy is expecting her first child with her boyfriend Ken Urker. The baby is due January 2025. But here's the kicker. At Gypsy Rose Blanchard Insta, I keep secrets. How embarrassing, Katie Joy. You should be ashamed of yourself. That statement alone speaks volumes. The reason I say this is her third chance is because when Gypsy Rose came out and she became, or should I say, blew up on social media, Katie Joy was given an advance copy of Gypsy Rose's book, and she actually divulged information she didn't have permission to divulge. And when she did make a post about what she learned in the advance copy of the book that she received, she was told to take that shit down. And this is the post that she made and had to remove. I just received an advance copy of Gypsy Rose's new book title released. The ebook will be available on January 9th, 2024. In the book, Gypsy reveals that she was essayed by her grandfather as a child. She alleged the abuse occurred when she was around 5 years old. Additionally, Gypsy alleges that her mom Dee Dee was also essayed by her grandfather, or Dee Dee's dad. In the upcoming docuseries, Gypsy will also confess to this abuse. Her grandfather was asked by producers if he abused her. He said he never abused her and went on to accuse Gypsy of grabbing him when she was 5 years old. In her book, Gypsy also details that she was forced to bath with her mother up until her mother's death. She writes that her mum shaved her vagina for her in the bath to keep her clean. Gypsy's book is not a retelling of her crime, but rather a look back at her life in the book. She reveals that she realized her whole life was abnormal and fraudulent only after she was arrested. She writes openly about her remorse for the murder, her remorse for bringing Nick into the crime, but also discusses Nick's abuse of her through sadism and control. The book is honest, raw, and real. I'm about halfway done and I'm hooked. It's evident she's done a lot of work and will continue to heal in the years to come. Gypsy Blanchards released is available where ebooks are sold. So, Katie Joy was so preoccupied with promoting her 7M docuseries and basically pushed Gypsy, Kristy, and that whole situation to the side and did what she felt was more important. And this happened from April right through to July. And in the middle of that, I think she only posted about the situation in regard to Gypsy maybe 3 times max. But anyway, so in July, when she, in my opinion, realized that this docuseries wasn't going anywhere, she wasn't gaining anything, that's when she decided to report on Gypsy again. And unfortunately, it seemed as though it was too late because I think Gypsy and Kristy had already cut Katie Joy off. And Katie Joy was realizing that she is either blocked or she no longer was needed. So what better way to actually get the attention of Kristy or Gypsy and post something that will come across as negative to maybe the opposing side of Gypsy, yet it would be positive for Gypsy and Kristy, if that makes sense. So on July 17th, Katie Joy made a post about a live that Ryan had done. And as you can see, she says, Ryan Anderson is a gaslighter. So obviously, negative for Ryan, but positive for Gypsy. And that was, as I said, done on July 17th. Then on July 19th, Katie Joy went on her Instagram and did a live. And you guys, just listen to this.
Hello, friends. All right, I'm going to just wait a couple minutes for everyone to come on. I have an update. I'm going to classify this live in a new, you should just get used to this. Katie at Without a Crystal Ball was telling the truth and was accurate and reported correctly when it came to another individual that has been taking storm on social media and spreading a lot of misinformation about a certain woman that was released from prison after serving 8.5 years.
Get used to it, people. Katie Joy at Without a Crystal Ball was telling the truth. I can't. I truly can't. She, in my humble opinion, she is an absolute joke.
Now, if you are familiar with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, you know that when she was released from prison, she was given a lot of attention and she got a lot of support from people. People were very much on her side and were like very much rooting for her. And then quickly, within the span of a couple months, people started turning on her. And a lot of those people were referring to a creator that went by the Good Wives Network. The Good Wives Network was run by a woman named Fancy Maselli. And Fancy Maselli, or April Johns, I put on a post like when she was first released to let the wider media know that April Johns, aka Fancy Maselli, was spreading misinformation about Gypsy's case and reporting details about her case that were not only inaccurate but completely defamatory.
When I saw that live, I instantly knew that there was trouble in paradise because Katie Joy was trying too hard, and the amount of ass kissing she was doing, it was all too much. Well, she goes on to disparage Fancy. Side note, if you don't like Fancy, I respect that. But Katie Joy had no right to use Fancy to get back in good graces with Gypsy. She then goes on to explain how charges were filed on Fancy and the whole incident that happened with Fancy and Gypsy's attorney in Missouri. And what better way to get back in Gypsy's good graces by actually going live and disparaging her so-called enemies. Well, obviously that didn't work for Miss Without a Crystal Ball, and this is where the messiness started. On July 20th, she made this post, and might I add, this is an old post of Gypsy that Katie Joy actually brought back up. So Katie Joy's plan was to get people, in my opinion, riled up and go after Gypsy for profiting off her crime, which at this point, majority of the YouTube creators were already doing. But Katie Joy wanted to turn the heat up a little bit more for Gypsy, especially since it's coming from a staunch supporter like Katie Joy. And also, might I add, Katie Joy later denies being a supporter of Gypsy.
What we said about Gypsy, and now to where you're using like Ruby as an avatar.
Okay, so it's I was never a supporter. I want to be clear. Like, I'm not a fan.
You were never a supporter of Gypsy.
Crazy, right? But anyways, now it is clear to Miss Without a Crystal Ball that these people, Gypsy and Kristy, have blocked her. They don't want anything to do with her. She goes on to make posts like these. Gypsy addresses the ones in the closet at her apartment with Ryan. You guys can pause to read the post. Then on July 22nd, she posts Gypsy Rose Web of Lies. The same day, Gypsy Rose didn't want to parole to her parents' house, so she married Ryan Anderson. July 23rd, wait until the end for my tea. And also, Gypsy has a chromosomal microdeletion, which is why she is so worried. Then she went on to make a YouTube video because now at this point, she wants revenge. Katie Joy cannot handle rejection. Katie Joy cannot respect other people's boundaries. She goes on to make a YouTube video on July 24th. Exclusive. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is lying about her pregnancy. In this video, she's playing the victim, how she was deceived and manipulated, but not just Gypsy, but the whole family.
Just to be clear, like, I'm not at a point anymore where I'm communicating with them because there have been so many lies told to me, so much deception that I have gone through and been manipulated by not just Gypsy, but the family.
And she can no longer defend the indefensible. The next day, she made an appearance on Morbid's YouTube channel, once again playing the victim role. She continued to make posts about Gypsy, and I feel that all these posts she was making, she knew all along what was happening and she was just being complicit and turning a blind eye. She continued to make posts about Gypsy and Kristy. She started to feel comfortable in the anti-Gypsy community. She started making connections and getting in contact with other people that Gypsy seemed to have failed or wronged in some kind of way. She even did a drunken live on a YouTube channel, and it was absolutely hilarious. And she actually called that Katie Joy After Dark. Then she went on to Morbid's YouTube channel for a second time, and then she went back to TikTok and built quite a following and collected quite a bit of money. It also caused quite a bit of drama. You guys, I will get into that in part 2. I apologize. I received some information about Katie Joy and how she spends her time now that she has abandoned TikTok. Part 2 should be uploaded, so head over there. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Please be safe out there. Be kind to one another, and don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.